Hey guys, can you believe it? It's the second to the last episode. We are almost to the end of Shameless. Oh my goodness, we have a lot to talk about. Let's get right to it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
It is Shameless Sunday! Woo-hoo! Our favorite kind of Sunday.
Yes.
Guys, we're almost to the end.
Can't believe it. It went by so quick. It always does that. Like, it's just like, boom,
Done.
Rip right through the season.
I know, it's nuts. Well, we do have a nice little addition to the end of our season. This is Jessica, everyone. Everyone meet Jessica. Welcome to our panel.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us. We're excited to have you. We will find out your social media and everything later on so that everyone can start following you and talking to you about the show. But we have a lot to talk about. So let's dive right in. I'm going to start with Frank today, just because we usually leave him till the end, but I'd like to jump into his storyline. We get a nice look at Frank's insides today.
And some great action, too. I mean, having the wrecking ball coming down in the apartment building was a nice, like, added touch to the show, I thought.
It was good. So Frank starts off this episode. He is still squatting in the old apartment building that Fiona was an owner of. And as he's sleeping, they start to demolish the building. And he is, like, that close to really getting hit by, you know, a couple of those bulldozers.
Yeah, that's why it was so surprising. It was like Frank takes any opportunity he can to get free stuff, free medical care, like sue someone. So I was just like, wait, this makes no sense. He's definitely not fine, A. And B, even if he had like the smallest scratch, you know, he'd be screaming. So what's going on here?
Right, and it is interesting that he doesn't want to go to the hospital right away. We do find out, though, that it's because he's used his Ingrid money to invest in some drugs. Yay! And in true Frank fashion.
Yeah.
He had some Molly, some acid, you know, a bunch of good stuff. So he wasn't going to the hospital until he sold that to his buyers. Right when the buyers come in, he gets into the ambulance. So, you know, he's just taking care of business.
Yeah.
This is like quintessential Frank Gallagher behavior.
Yes.
I feel like every bit of it, from going to the hospital 52
times. What a record, Frank. He's got over $100,000 in unpaid hospital bills, and they have to find a doctor for him that's willing to do it for free because obviously they know he can't pay. And they find a 21-year-old resident who was the youngest Yale medical school graduate. Can this type of thing happen in real life?
I think so. I feel like it
where
must.
a resident can work on somebody without anyone supervising, or, you know, they're supervising late and then just kind of discharging him before he's actually allowed.
Well, the comment about where they said, oh, well, on drunk homeless guys, this is how young surgeons learn. And that never occurred to me, but that's probably really a thing in those teaching hospitals, you know?
It's possible. I mean, I don't know the, like, ins and outs of inpatient, outpatient services, all that kind of stuff.
When it comes to healthcare, I mean, it's a really messed up system.
Yeah, for sure.
Frank, I know, understandably, has a lot of money that he owes this hospital, so that's a different case. It's also shameless, but no, this is a thing that people do. Unfortunately, we do in this country. It's very sad. You can look up on YouTube. There's a bunch of videos of video surveillance of old people who are literally wearing the garments because they were discharged and they have nowhere to go, no mental health care, no one's taking care of them. And these hospitals if no one's paying, they don't really know how to handle it, and there's no real protocol, so they literally dump people in their gowns in the middle of the street.
That is nuts. Okay, so Frank, at the end of this episode, gets exactly that. He gets dumped in the middle of the street in a wheelchair in his hospital gown. What did you think about that and that whole ending to his storyline today?
He seemed happy, though. He seemed all drugged up, and he was like, he got what he wanted.
Well, he got 20 more morphine. Yeah, that's all he wanted was some drugs.
At least they took him back home, right? Like, he was on his, you know.
That's true. I didn't expect the ambulance to, like, actually give him a ride back. They're like, we're going to discharge you, but we'll at least take you back home.
I like that they, like, didn't take him home, though. They just dropped him off, not even, like, on his street, but, like, in his street. And they were like, close enough. Yeah, he'll be fine.
They did leave him with the wheelchair that I thought was surprising. Those things are expensive.
Yeah, true.
That was literally, I wrote that down. That's an expensive thing to give somebody who never pays for anything. Well, you know, that's Frank. All right. Well, so let's move on to Kev and V this week. So we see them right in the beginning. They're finally about to have sex after Kev has had his vasectomy. It's been 2 weeks, and he waited the exact 2 weeks, like down to the second that we watched the clock with them, and then right when it hits 2 weeks, he goes after it. And I mean, like, really goes after it. V's like, okay, calm down, be gentle. And he lasts a record
8 seconds.
Yay! Kev, which obviously we've seen a lot of their like sex scenes and intimacy in the past, and we know that that is not Kev.
That's not the norm.
That is not the norm. So what did we think about all of this and kind of how he's still reacting to having to have a vasectomy?
I like it. I think it's you know, I always love Kev and V, so I like to see anything with them. But I like that this is probably like something realistically, like a realistic struggle he's gonna have to go through, and then he can't just like be perfect right after what he's just had done. So
I guess I never really knew much about vasectomies. I kind of always thought it was just like a super simple procedure, and then you were good after. I didn't really think about like what could happen after. And yeah, there are some not so fun side effects that you'll have to work through. It's like physical therapy for your penis.
Yeah. I was surprised that he was more surprised than she was.
Yeah.
Because I mean, more upset. She was kind of like, oh, okay, and she was surprised, and he was just like taking it like so hard.
I mean, that's his manhood. That's all he's got. Kev is a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, when I was watching this, I was like, wow, because sometimes, partners aren't always. Depending on the relationship, they're like, it's like, oh, it's been 2 weeks and he's just being super selfish right now.
Right.
I'm like, wow, but people that are married really do that, and actually, that's not how that went. So that's just my brain.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, they're just funny. Even V's little jabs at the alibi with the guys at the bar, and just that whole banter is really funny. Really giving it to Kev. We were so excited, guys, this week because in the beginning when they're like, this is what you missed, all of a sudden, finally, Amy and Gemma were brought up, and we literally all were like, oh my God, finally, we're going to get to find out what happens with these girls. So, I mean, I think we all knew right in the beginning what was happening right when they brought that sequence up. The girls, there's a fire alarm at school. They're just, going through their fire drills, and we knew that both of them were going to be seen by the nuns. So the nuns find out that they've been going to school for months. I mean, were we surprised it lasted this long? Like,
yes.
Come on.
Yes and no, because I feel like in that preschool environment, it's just chaos at all times. So they're probably just like, ooh, whatever. It's fine as long as everybody's breathing.
Right. For sure.
I love the little girl though. I was like, I gotta go back in my cubby.
So they hide in a cubby during school when one of them's in class and they switch on and off. Oh my God, I was like, oh, those poor girls. Well, so their punishment, the nuns sit them down and tell them that they can either pay the $1,400 in back pay plus interest, or they're looking for a Jesus for their school fundraiser. And Kev has to carry this massive cross dressed up as Jesus for 150 yards, and it was made by one of the school dads, I think, and it's like 300 pounds.
So heavy. That thing's crazy.
Yeah.
And also, one thing is that, unless I missed this, that's what he decides to do. But what's with the girls? Can the girls stay once this debt, like they pay off the debt? Like
They didn't say. Yeah, no, you didn't miss it. They didn't tell us. So I don't know. I have a feeling no. I think this is just how they're going to pay their debt, and then they'll probably not be able to go to school there.
Or either or have to start figuring out how to pay for both of them.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. That's if we only have one episode left. That's if we even find any of that out. I don't know. We've got a lot to tie up here towards the end. So yeah, anyway, Kev makes the choice to be Jesus. He's practicing carrying his cross down the street at the end of this episode.
While smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
I mean, that wig and everything, he's going to have to wear this, like, sarong.
Yeah.
I still thought he looked kind of good, though. Is that weird?
No, Kev always looks
he
good.
always
looks good.
Any chance for us to be able to see him with, like, shirt off, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I was totally fine with that.
I thought it was surprising, though. It was funny about those little short shorts, but I don't know, the nuns, like, really? It doesn't seem very Catholic of of them.
Well, I think they all have like a secret crush on him. They're like, well, or Kev could be Jesus. Like, I feel like it was like a little
That's
like
true.
Nuns Gone Wild moment.
And they're like, Jesus didn't have clothes. They're just trying to be, very accurate. Yeah.
I'm about it. I'm not complaining over here.
As accurate as they can be, as V brought up, like, oh, that was a funny banter too. Well, Jesus is black and he had nappy hair like the rest of us, and then Tami was like, he was Christian because he's Christ. He's Christian. Yeah, those guys are funny. I love the bar scenes. Okay, so we'll see what happens with the girls next week. Let's move on to Carl and Debbie. They've got a bunch of sibling rivalry stuff going on today. Poor Carl. Let's talk about him first. So Carl's still really sad about Kelly breaking up with him, and it doesn't make it any easier that Kelly's like back the next day hanging out with his sister, which I personally think is like just so wrong to begin with. Like, it's just so weird. Why would you want to hang out at the house?
Yeah.
It's just weird, right?
Yeah.
It just shows how she's not good for him. Although I know we've praised her in the past.
I know.
That's just not considerate at all. Just to be kind of just flaunting around in his own home, in his own space, acting all weird. It's just very selfish behavior.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we forget, too, how young they are sometimes, too, because they've been through so much over the years. And so and the way that they carry themselves most of the time is just too mature for, like, their actual age. So I think we forget, too, that they're just young and immature.
They're really young, and I was wondering this. You know how there's like this small snippet about the friar?
Yes.
Yes. I think he was just a teenager, and he was just having a really bad skin day, and they put that in the scene.
I was wondering about that.
You mean in real life?
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. We'd have to, like, go through his Instagram and stalk him and see if his skin just got bad. But it could be, for sure.
I was looking straight at it. I'm like, those are not like burn marks. Those are
actual pimples.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got some like bad cystic acne. Poor guy. Those days are tough. We're with you there, buddy. We get it. So yeah, and then we find him on the front porch, and he is on his way to work, and he finds out he doesn't get into West Point.
Yeah, my heart just went out to him this episode. That was something he tried so hard at too. Like,
And
I
wanted
really,
so bad.
Yeah, it's just, I think, frustrating. Trying to get out and trying to make your life better, and then
So tough.
I feel like that's been this whole season, kind of, all of them. Like, they're all just trying so hard to break out, and
It's just
it's not
getting
going their way.
Yeah, and you know what's tough too is because we saw so many of the things he had to do to try to get into West Point, even though it was already a long shot. So he was trying to use all of the does your family do this? Like, are you, maybe from a bad upbringing to where this would help you out, all that kind of stuff. And he didn't even make it past the first round. So
yeah, and it was really, really saddening because I know they were playing upbeat music during the whole scene of the people picking up the drugs, and he's reading this, but it was just kind of showing like, wow, these people try so hard, and it's very, very hard, to not be poor, honestly, and you're stuck in this systematic oppression, and it is what it is, and it's just really, really saddening.
I think what the worst part for me too is that he looks right at Kelly right after he reads the letter, and that probably was the only person he wanted to talk to about it, because who knows if she could have helped or could have made any changes, or her dad could have helped in any way, but like he's just not going to say anything.
Yeah. Or just to have her there to talk to him about it,
Well, right.
so she understands all the stuff that he's going through.
Yeah, or even, the chances of him trying again next year or whatever. But
I think he's going to figure it out. Like, I don't know if he's going to do West Point, but he's going to do something like the military realm.
Well, he's clearly, brave. So as he's working, some guy comes in and holds him up at the counter because he has to watch the counter because his creepy sexual harassment manager is out for the day. And the guy comes up with a 32, which, guys, I have no idea what any of that stuff means. Every time they talk about guns, I'm like, I don't know what that means. And it's pink and black, and he's like, are you kidding me with that pink gun? Yeah, go ahead and shoot me, thinking that guy wasn't going to actually do anything, and the guy shot next to his head, and then he was like, oh no, like, you're screwed, and beat the shit out of him. What do we think of
That
that?
was amazing. Because as soon as that gunshot went on, I was like, oh, shoot. And I thought he'd, give the money. He'd act like kind of any other individual would act. And, of course, he didn't. And that was my favorite part, just the frying pan.
Yes.
I loved it too.
Yeah, I thought for a second he might kill that guy. But, we all know that he's, like, good in the military and he's good in those situations. So I just want to see him do well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Debbie's not making that very easy for him, though, because she's hanging out with Kelly. They're going to buy all of her stuff for military school. And she's not thinking about Carl at all in this situation.
And I don't know why. I'm just kind of surprised by this from her.
Really? Why?
I mean, I shouldn't be. Like,
Okay,
I shouldn't
it's
be.
funny you say that. We have some, and I'll pull this one up again. I didn't pull it, but we have some awesome tweets later about this episode, so stay with us because we're going to read some of your tweets. But people brought up every single thing that she's done in the past
Everybody
that
hates
didn't
Debbie.
shock them about this situation.
That's the thing, is that if someone messes with your family, she'll go actually, she'll protect
Yeah.
Carl, and I think that's what we're seeing later on in the episode or the episodes to come. But she messes with her own. She's very selfish in the way that she acts. The fact that she forgets about Franny every episode, you know.
Right.
Where's Franny?
Yeah.
Ever?
She's just in
Like,
the pack and play always, just jumping. That was actually super cute when she was jumping with Debbie and Kelly. But why were you shocked?
That's my
surprised.
point. That's my point. Is I feel like this whole season she's been kind of on this high horse and high and mighty about how you're taking care of the family and taking over Fiona's thing and telling everybody else what they need to do and how they're acting incorrectly. And I feel like this is exactly what she's doing, and she's doing the most selfish thing to her own brother.
Right, being a bit of a hypocrite.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I see that. She kisses Kelly while Kelly is sleeping. Even though Kelly kisses her back, but you can tell obviously when she wakes up and realizes that it's Debbie that she was like still in a sleep and had no idea who it was, and probably was subconsciously thinking it was Carl. And then freaks out and tells Debbie that she's not gay. I will say though, I thought that Kelly handled that situation in like the nicest way that she could have, because even after she saw that it was Debbie, she was trying to be nice by saying, if I was, though, you'd be my type and we can still be friends. And, you know, I think there could have been a lot of worse ways for her to react. So I did think that that was the most sensitive way she could have went about it.
Do you think she actually like didn't know she was leading her on though? She was like, oh, I had no idea. Like I was leading you on. I'm like, she knew.
I don't know if she fully put it together. I don't think she really was like, oh, this girl wants to date me. I think she just really liked the attention.
Yeah.
She didn't really, you know, I don't know, put it all together like that.
Right. And maybe, I don't know, maybe she assumed that somebody's sibling wouldn't ever, like, do that, so it wasn't even in the realm of possibility. But I think she'll know for next time what not to do.
Although she should have got a hint when they were fighting over her at the softball, you know, the time before. So it's
yes.
things like that should have made her a little more aware that this was possibly moving beyond just like a friend
zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Well, thank goodness the Gallaghers always end up, you know, rooting for each other, helping each other. And Carl and Debbie get over it at the end and, you know, have a really deep talk and just apologize to each other. And it was a good moment at the end for me. Did you like how that storyline wrapped up? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I like to see those two together and mending the rift a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about Liam, because I would love to just know your reactions to how he's handling all of this. So obviously Liam is just at his friend's house. Like there's nothing bad happening to him. He's actually doing fantastic. He's getting fresh baked goods, you know, hot biscuits, and he's playing video games with his friend. But he will not answer his phone because they didn't realize that he was gone for 2 days, guys.
That's totally like the youngest child of the family though. You know what I mean? By the time it gets to the last kid, it's just like, oh, he's having fun.
Well, yeah, even the reaction is like, oh, he'll come. Yeah, he'll come back.
He'll be okay.
Yeah.
But he's like, how old at this point, Liam? Do we even know exactly how old he is?
He can't
he's
be
young.
He's like 10, right?
Yeah, he's in maybe middle school. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so do we think that he should answer his phone? Do you like that he's not answering his phone? Do you think he should go home? Like, what are we thinking about all of this?
I like that he wasn't answering his phone for a while because I think it's funny. And
Yeah.
I think, if it took him 2 days to figure out who was missing, that, maybe give
It's
him
a big
give him a
F
little
you.
bit of a, yeah. I think, although now, even, Lip is asking, I think it's time for him to fess up and say that he's okay so that things can stop, worrying about him. But I think that you definitely should hang out there. Mrs. Thompson's amazing. And,
Heck yeah. Yeah, those biscuits look good.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't just like find my friend him, you know?
Because that's
They don't
not
have
the
a
type of
location?
That's not the type of family they are. They're not like the parents who are doing that. You know what I mean? They're all dealing with their own stuff, and I think this was kind of a way to remind us of that. Is
True.
Even though last few episodes, Lip was telling Fiona, "I don't want you around because of Liam, the way you're acting," which I agree, but it's not all on her. It's not. Liam hasn't been gone for 2 days and no one noticed just because of Fiona. There's other people in that house, and it's just goes to show how there's no one really in charge.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. They're all running around like crazy, just doing their own thing. Yeah, I think Liam should just text them and just say he's staying.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm good,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna stay and eat the biscuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, cool. Speaking of Lip, I definitely want to talk about this whole Tami situation because this is a tough one for me, the way that she's reacting.
Yep.
So, we meet Tami's dad today. Like right off the top, he shows up at their house and asks for Lip and immediately says that Tami is having this baby. It's not even an option, you know, and is giving us his religious viewpoints, which we find out later on that's like what he's going to do. He's a Catholic dad, and that's like the only choice. But we still don't actually know what Tami's doing, and Lip finds out that she's going to the doctor. We still don't know what kind of doctor. Like, she's never telling him anything. She's just kind of giving him attitude and stringing him on a little bit. Just what do you think about how she's acting and
I hate the way she's acting, and I was so happy when he told her to F off because I thought she deserved that. I mean, I guess we find out there's more fear. I mean, she's definitely coming from a place of fear. You know, we found out there's more going on besides just the baby. But I just don't. To me, again, this is kind of a turn because we saw their relationship growing, and I felt going in a positive direction. And you know, when she was helping, it just seemed like it was a different kind of relationship. And now I feel like it's gone back to this, like
playing games type of thing.
Where I don't want them to have a child together, and I don't want that, you know, because I just don't feel like it's not. And her pushing him away through all of this is. I don't feel the right way to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. If there's a child around, I don't want her talking to him the way that she does.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a respectable thing. So she is going through a lot, granted, as JJ mentioned. So I'm hoping that this will kind of work itself out no matter what her decision is.
Yeah.
I really want them to communicate better because Lip's really trying, and I don't think she's fully seeing that. She's just irritated.
For sure. Was that a picture of Margarita that she was drinking?
Yeah.
Okay, so I assumed with the salt around the rim and they were at a Mexican restaurant and she said she needed a drink, which I think we all assumed meant that she had an abortion at that doctor's office.
Yeah.
But then when she starts talking, she says that she was getting tested for the BRCA gene, which is the gene that your chances of getting breast cancer are very high. So a lot of women will take steps to get tested and have mastectomy or whatever the case to prevent that from happening. So she is still pregnant, and now she's chugging a pitcher of margarita. And Lip does not say to her to stop, which I think was smart on his end. Like, I think, not smart, like I wish he would have been like, can you just please, for the baby's sake, like not drink that pitcher of margarita? But I understand that she just like maybe needed a moment. I don't know. That was tough for me, too, because that's just such a, like...
That's been their whole argument, is her being like, don't tell me what to do with my body. So, like, I think the last thing you could say would be like, hey, about that margarita, like, don't, you know, like,
Right.
he can't.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not even going to go there.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. This one is really tough because this is, like, such a real-life thing. I mean, Shameless always imitates, like, super deep real-life situations, and... I have no idea how I would react or, a boyfriend or whatever, but I think she could do a lot worse than Lip. That's all I'm going to say.
For sure. And again, I understand she's going through so much right now, but I don't know, even the fact that she asked him if he wanted a drink, that she completely forgot this essential thing about him, I kind of was like, wow, okay, really? You want to have a baby?
She's super angry that he got her pregnant, and it's not his fault. It's both of their faults.
Takes two to tango.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's what frustrates me a lot about all this.
She's just an angry character.
Yeah, and it's like pushing him away. It's like, no, he is part of it. I get it that it's your body, and but you was a two-person thing that happened, and you need to be able to talk through it and really,
And it does make sense now. All of her comments about not living to 40 and how she was going to die young, and it's because she had never never gotten this test before, and so she just assumed she was never going to, but she's trying. The test results are going to make her decide whether she has a baby or not, because like she said, there's a couple different types of this BRCA gene. One, if you have a baby, decreases your chances of getting cancer, and one, if you have a baby, increases them. So I think that's going to be how this decision is made. Yeah. And we only got one episode left to decide it. So, all right, so Fiona, our girl Fiona, speaking of last episode. Oh, is anyone getting sad?
Yeah.
I love Fiona.
I know. It's such a weird feeling to know next week is her last episode.
Ever.
Yeah.
Done.
I mean, we do know that they're leaving it open in case she can make a couple appearances here and there maybe, but for the most part, we won't see her anymore. But so Fiona's back home. She's waking up not drinking, which is great. She's making coffee. You can tell that she's still struggling for sure in the morning. Like she looks like she has like a continual hangover right now. But her and Lip are talking and getting her to meetings. And even though she doesn't make the meeting with Lip in the morning because she took Frank to the hospital, she does make it a point to go later on in the day by herself. So Fiona in this episode is really trying to get her act together, which is great. I think we all can agree that that's a good thing. Yeah. The biggest thing with her is she goes to see her public defender because she's got this assault case, still open because she punched that girl in the face. And we find out she really did her in. She broke her cheekbone.
She was messed up.
Yeah,
messed up.
Man.
That eye was so swollen, so red. I mean, I know it was a punch, but that was strong.
They know how to fight. Those Gallagher's, they know how to fight. So the public defender is telling her that she needs to get a job of any kind. Well, actually, no, let me start here. It seemed like she was going to have absolutely no shot in hell of having any type of court case. And then I thought, oh, God, they're going to throw her in prison too, whatever. Until she mentioned that this all started because of a racist comment and because her brother was black. And so now they think that they might have a case that they can, get this down to a misdemeanor, which would be great because she already has a felony. But she did tell her that she needs to go get a job of any kind. So Fiona... She does that. She gets a job of any kind. She has nights at the Valero. Sounds like a club.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Nights at the Valero.
Yes, but not a fun club. She's behind that, bulletproof plastic or whatever the heck that stuff is, plexiglass. And guess who comes around, everybody? Who happens to show up at this gas station this late at night?
Yeah. Her first night.
To buy $50 worth of, on number 6, he's playing some type of lottery game, spending $50. Is that what it is?
On the gas station, pump station.
Oh my God, yes. That was a dumb moment of mine. That makes so much more sense because I was like, what the heck? I don't know why. Okay, maybe I'm a gambling addict. Why did my mind immediately go to the lottery? That's because I played the Powerball yesterday and I lost. So yeah, he brings up the fact that she still has this investment in this property, and the whole thing is still going through. The nursing home is still going to buy the property. Did you guys forget that this was even a thing? Because I did.
Why did nobody update her? Why was she not in this email CC with all these other investors? She was totally she was just as shocked as we were. I feel
she was totally out of the loop.
Yeah, I guess I just assumed it all fell through since we hadn't heard about it,
They did a really good job with that. I think they, a lot of people remember those meetings. This is not their only investment. They actually have a lot going on, and they seem like a smaller investment that will, in the long run, generate a lot of more money, but it's going to take years. So I think that's kind of was on the back burner for a lot of these people, and that's probably why they're not communicating as much.
There's a really great tweet that we pulled today about this exact thing, which I'm excited to talk about. Do we have any huge things to say about Fiona? The manager that's now managing Patsy's is at these AA meetings with her. So let's talk a little bit about that, and then we can get into our tweets. She is there, and you can tell she's really proud of Fiona for being there. Yeah. Were you shocked that she was at AA, though?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like, oh, that's a little tidbit we didn't know about her.
No,
I think they mentioned that she was like, I wanted, there was something along the lines where it was subtle, but I remember being like, oh, I wonder if she has issues too, because she was like, yeah, I think Fiona was like, I want to drink. She's like, yeah, we all do, or we all could use, like something along those lines. So I wasn't
okay.
I wasn't
so they didn't
shocked.
say for sure, but there were some like little red flags
Yeah,
there.
because she
here and
always
there.
was pushing her to go do that, and I think that although people who don't really know much about that, they'd just be like, stop drinking, get clean, versus her being go to a meeting.
Right.
She had suggested
Taking
that.
a different way of telling her to get clean.
I love this
that's
friendship.
True.
I think I really like it. I love that actress as well. So.
I could see that being a sponsee, maybe relationship, because Lip can't do it. Can't have your family as your sponsor. So, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, can we pull up some tweets and talk about those, or do you want to hit us with that real quick?
I'll hit you with that.
Guys, we got something to hit you with real quick.
Listen up, guys, because before we move on to our next topic, we just want to say thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV talk. For us to continue to grow, we could really use your help. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. If you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating, just as JJ's doing. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Being part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows.
Thanks. Okay, perfect. And that's actually going to be super important because next week is our last week of Shameless, and you're going to need a new show to watch. And we probably cover it. So definitely hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Okay, so let's pull up some tweets here because there were some good ones. Can we actually go to the other one? Because we were just... Yes, perfect. So this one is from Tracy. I was wondering why Fiona was complaining about being broke, knowing she still had $100K invested in that building. So she fell apart for no reason. Do we agree with this tweet? Do we think she fell apart for no reason? No. So you're shaking your head no. Why?
Like, she had so much reason to fall apart. I mean, she's a human, and she got cheated on in the worst way. She was physically hurt. Her car, like, you know, there was a lot. It was a lot more than just the money, but I think obviously money on top of all of that just makes everything worse.
Yeah, and I think this was an investment, but she wasn't really, I mean, the money was a big part of it, but I think it was more so moving up, and the building meant so much to her because it was a physical representation of she owned something versus, you know, an investment that's going to come in later. So yeah, I think that was the reason why. And it was just the camel that broke the, was it? The straw that broke the camel's back.
That's not a saying they use in Paris.
No, not really. The thing is that think of like all the times she's had her heart broken. I think this hardship was just really, really tough on her. Not necessarily because she loved him so much, more so because it's like, damn, our
It's
whole
happening
man's trash.
again. Yeah, I get that. I do think maybe there could have been like a step in between. Like maybe she reached out to Max to see if she could get her money back first before she lost her stuff. Maybe, but yes, the way that they wrote this though, and how everything's gonna come around for her.
And I like it too because especially after the conversation with her and Lip, and he was saying, "No, it's not hard. You just get up," and that just kind of was like a sign from the universe. She literally just got up. She was in a box. It felt like a little jail. She really wasn't happy with this job, but she was really trying, and that's when things happen.
Yeah, I will say, did anyone for a split second, like me, want to say to Max, "No, you're not buying me out again this time because I'm gonna make more money, and why can't you just kind of wait it out and hold out and live like she has for however many years until she makes a shit ton of money?"
I definitely had that thought because I definitely thought no, because maybe he's like again lying again. She's gonna give that money right away, and then like in a month it could have been worth
Double,
5 times
tripled,
that.
whatever,
I agree, and I thought she should have just I wouldn't have done it yet either.
But it looks like from the preview that she does.
It does
they
look
showed
like-
the $100,000 check.
Yes, I know. Oh, okay, this other tweet. This is from B NATO7. Shameless will never be the same once Fiona is gone. She deserves a great send-off, though.
Yes, she does.
She does. I want to take this tweet into our predictions, though, because I want to predict Fiona's send-off, if you don't mind.
And now, you're after.
And we have to keep the energy up here, even though we all just like, oh, she's gone.
I don't want to predict our final episode with Emmy Rossum.
We have to because this is the biggest thing happening.
You can't make us, Hayley.
Well, that's true. I can't, but you know, the listeners will be real upset.
Well,
Because you guys are predicting it at home too. You know, we've seen you guys talking about it, and we just want to know.
and to add news and gossip onto our predictions,
Yes.
she did actually speak a little bit about it in Entertainment Weekly this week. You guys can check out an article with her where she says we will get a very poignant moment with her and Frank that she said is kind of reminiscent to like one of their first scenes or something, but she says it's like a big moment. So we should get something
boy.
On
there.
predictions, I think it should. You know how he told Lip that he couldn't have done it without her. I wonder if we're gonna have that face-to-face moment. That's my prediction.
Yeah, maybe he finally tells her. Oh gosh.
Thanks for
That'll make
raising
me
my
cry.
kids.
yeah, for sure.
I think she's like gone forever. Like I think she's gonna go somewhere far alone. Like maybe
It sure
like
seems
another
like it.
town. Like
Yeah.
another. She's not gonna be in Chicago. That's my prediction. She's out of Chicago.
I want her to go somewhere sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Warm.
like Florida.
Yeah. Well, she's got a good chunk of money to, you know, start a new life for sure. And it does make it seem like that in the previews for next week if you watched that, you know, somebody told her to get out of this dump and start over.
Yeah. You can buy property with that kind of money. Like not out here,
yeah.
but like
Of course. For
Yeah.
sure.
Maybe she's buying a house
Yeah.
in a faraway land.
Yeah. I don't know. What makes me really sad, though, is that just thinking about all of her goodbyes, like even with Keven V,
Yeah.
you know, like her having to say goodbye to V, she's just totally moving, is just like, oh, God, that's going to be so sad.
And Ian, like, how is she gonna say goodbye to Ian? Is she gonna have to like hand against the glass it? Like, that's even sadder.
Yeah, well, that's what's fun, though, is that we get to see Ian next week. We get a little cameo.
so
at least.
excited.
Yay.
I'm
Cameron's
so
back for
excited.
one episode at least, so that makes me happy. If there's one silver lining to next week's episode, that's probably
Yeah,
it.
same. I really hope we'll get like a little update of how his jail romance has been going on.
I know. Oh my goodness. Yes. If they both show up, I'm gonna lose it. I'm just gonna lose it.
And then Jimmy Steve.
Yes, we still have to throw that in there. Somebody did. Somebody threw out a tweet that I saw earlier that was good. They were hoping that Jimmy Steve was the one that showed up at the gas station. I was like,
Maybe
amen.
they're just gonna like ride off
Amen.
into the sunset together. Maybe that's how it
He's
happens.
gone, unfortunately.
I know
think
he's
gone.
not good for her, but I just love to joke about it.
I know.
Love to see him again.
Sure. So do we have anything else to say before we head off into the distance and then come back for our final episode?
I'm not happy, Hayley. That's all I have to say. I am not happy.
Well, listen,
but I
Shameless
understand.
doesn't
It's
always make
still
us
hard
happy.
to believe. I think I'm still kind of in denial about it.
Yeah, I get it. Well, we can deny it for one more week,
Yeah,
ladies,
gotta.
and then that's it. JJ, where can everyone find you on social
You
media?
can find me at jj.jurgens on Instagram.
And
I was going to say Twitter, but I haven't checked it really yet. I'll get back on Twitter. Just JJ Jurgens on Twitter.
on her show, Tom Girl, on
yes.
YouTube and iTunes. Go
Yes,
subscribe
she's
to
your
that.
best hype woman.
She
You
is.
forget your
I know,
own
I know.
show.
It's such a good show. You learn so much.
Thank
It's female
you, lady.
empowerment. It's beautiful ladies, if you're into that type of thing. I don't know. It's a good time, so check that out. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that at Bonjour Juliet.
Awesome. Where can they find you, Jessica?
You can find me on Instagram at Jessica O'Connor _. And yeah, I'm not up on my tweet game either, but stay tuned.
Cool. Instagram. You can find me everywhere at Hayley Clover. Guys, next week is the week. Feel free to make your predictions below. Make sure you're subscribing and liking our show. And we'll see you for the finale. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.